Are you disappointed about Mourinho?
Am I disappointed about
Yeah.
it? Disappointment's probably the wrong word, but what I would say about Mourinho is I think he's past his best. I think we've seen the best of Mourinho. Sort of like, I would say Inter, when he won the Champions League at Inter, that was Mourinho at the very height of his powers. To go to Serie A at the lowest point of its history and take an Italian team to win the Champions League and to defeat that incredible Barcelona team, the best Barcelona team of Pep Guardiola, was an incredible achievement. But I think since then he's gone on a steady decline. I mean he won one La Liga at Madrid, but then he came back to Chelsea, and now at United I think he has been a big disappointment. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, to not even get in the top four, spending all that money, is
I'd like to look at sixth position in the top 5 leagues in Europe and compare what the teams who have finished sixth in Italy, Spain, France and Germany compared to what Man United have paid to finish there. And I know that they've put all their eggs in the Europa League basket, but even that in itself is an indictment on how poorly the season has gone for Mourinho. The fact that they're concentrating so heavily on the Europa League. I mean, this is a competition. I remember Patrice Evra, when he was playing for Man United, said he was embarrassed to have dropped into it when they got knocked out of the Champions League.
Mourinho said it himself when he took over at Chelsea after Rafa Benitez had won the Europa League just months earlier.
Yeah.
And he said something
very similar, yeah. And now he's trying to spin it like it's the most important match in Man United's history. I mean, that for me, he was speaking earlier on in the year about Claudio Ranieri's sacking and saying, when you sack Ranieri, you can't delete history. But he's trying to delete history because this is Man United. They've won 20 titles. They've won 3 Champions Leagues. They've had some of the best players in the world play for them. This is a club that's synonymous with success. And he's trying to make them believe that Europa League is good enough. And one thing I don't like about it is for me, the fans are complicit in all of this because, in a sense, they're kind of happy to be there. There's still full gates at Old Trafford every week. You've got people defending where the team are in the league and saying, no, we need to prioritise. Hey, Ajax qualified for the Champions League through their league position. And now they're in the Europa League final as well. Why can't Man United do that?
Yeah, it's been embarrassing the way that Manchester United have played as well. For a team like Manchester United that spent all that money, and the second leg against Celta Vigo, was it 32% possession at home?
And they were that close to going out.
And they should have gone out. John Guidetti puts that chance away. The pressure would have been unbearable. I mean, yeah, awful football. Before Ibrahimovic got injured, there were games where it was Ibra and Fellaini up front, and it was long ball up to the both of them. And it's quite funny with Mourinho, he's contradicting himself all the time. You can almost compare him to Trump, when Trump came in as American president, and since then, within a matter of weeks, he's broken every single promise that he'd made. And Mourinho, if you actually watched his very first press conference...
he was talking about winning the league title. He's going to bring the glory days back. We belong in the Champions League. And now he seems to be in a situation where he's convinced everybody that Man United are where they need to be. And that's why I think, actually, Man United and Jose Mourinho are very well matched at the minute, because I don't think either of them can take the other out of their funk that they're in. United are where they are since Ferguson retired. Mourinho is where he is since, as you say, he's been on the wane now since he won the title with Real Madrid, even though he won a title with Chelsea as well. And I just think they're meant for each other. And not in the sense that, 12 years ago they were meant for each other, where you could actually see Mourinho maybe overtaking, all that energy, all that power, and coming in and becoming a new Ferguson with a spark under him. I just don't see that same guy there now.
The thing is with United, they're one of at least in the top 3 biggest clubs in the world, financially anyway.
Yeah. With
all the money that they've got, they should not be where they are, and that is down to Mourinho. I mean, he made those 4 big signings, and they've done all right. But if you look at this summer, if you actually look at how much work Manchester United still need to do, there's no way that they're going to be challenging to win the Premier League next season.
Well, if you look
at the spine of their team,
look at the money. For me, look at the money that they spent on Pogba. They probably need 4 £100 million players every summer for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And that would get them back to the level.
That's not a ridiculous thing to say. No. If Ibrahimovic was 25, it wouldn't be so bad. The problem is they need to go out and buy a world-class forward, which is going to cost 100 million.
They're going to need a world-class goalkeeper.
Yeah,
because
if the Higher leagues.
Yeah,
they need the defence needs work. The centre of midfield needs work. There's so much work that needs doing,
and everybody knows how much work the team needs. So everybody is going to inflate their prices accordingly. Yeah. And again, it's not like with Pep Guardiola, where Guardiola he's taken criticism at Man City this year, right? But he's gone in there and he's tried to do something. Yeah. And over the course of his life cycle at Man City, they will become a better team. They will win titles. He's brought the average age of the squad completely down. And, although there's been setbacks this year and people have pointed and laughed and said, oh, that didn't work out, and there's been sneering at Guardiola, hey, he's an innovator and he's trying. Whereas Mourinho has just, he's taken this safety-first, risk-adverse approach and, tried to make sure that United don't lose games. And you can see that in this pathetic undefeated streak that they've been on. 12 draws and 13 wins in 25 games. That is not a good record.
Pep's got a plan, and Mourinho is just, at any sign of the first bit of struggle, he's got reverted to type.
Yeah, exactly.
Gone back to the trenches.
I look at it. Look at the striker situation, for example. So Mourinho has Marcus Rashford, and he could play him through the centre, and he could build his team around him and say this is our striker for 10 years. But what does he do? He brings in Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's 35 years of age, because that is a classic Mourinho tactic. Bring in the short-term fix, make sure that I get my results, and damn the club after I leave. Now look at Pep Guardiola and what he's done at Man City. He's got probably outside Messi, Ronaldo, Higuain, Lewandowski. He's got one of the top 5 strikers in the world in Sergio Aguero. And what does he do? He drops him. He tries to make him better. He brings in a contender for his place in the team to show him exactly how he wants to play. And if Aguero can't get with that program, Guardiola's not going to put him in the team just so he can fix up some results for a season or two and then he can clear off again. No, if he can't get in the team on his own merit, he's going to put Gabriel Jesus in because that is a young player who he wants to play, who will play exactly how he wants him to play.
I mean, I have my concerns over Pep Guardiola's man management as well, to be honest with you. But with Mourinho, at least Pep has a plan, like you mentioned. You can see the project, you can see where he's trying to take City. It might take a while, the defence isn't good enough, but you can see where he's going. With Mourinho, you don't really see it, and I think tactically, he's playing the same style of football, and for a long time he was playing that same 4-2-3-1 formation, rigid, with everyone sticking in their same positions. Football's not like that now. Football's about having hybrid formations. We've seen that with Pep. They don't even have a formation. Pep Guardiola doesn't. Allegri, I think, has become probably the most adaptable and flexible coach in Europe. His formation changes so many times.
Even Zidane.
In the course of a move.
Even Zidane.
Yeah.
There was a situation at Real Madrid where you thought, okay, if the BBC isn't in the team here, then somebody is going to strop and they're not going to get the results. But, he's almost playing like with 2 up front with Benzema, Ronaldo and Isco in behind. He's come up with that. He's conjured that.
Isco moves around, he goes from right to left to the middle.
He's conjured that formation himself and you just don't see that innovation.
With Mourinho, everything is so rigid, and I think that is so 10, 15, 20 years ago.
It comes with being so risk adverse. He would prefer, I think it thrills him more not to concede goals than it does to actually see his team score them. And the reason I say that is because the top teams, what they spend, I know they're playing every 3 days, they don't get a lot of time on the training pitch, but what they try more often than not on the training pitch is try to create goals. Because every team that a good team comes up against wants to stop them from scoring goals. So what do they have to do? They have to look for tactical advantages. How do they do that? They do it on the training pitch. Mourinho doesn't pay any attention to his attacking shape on the training pitch. He says, right, you 6 are going to protect me. And the rest of you, if you could win the game for me, that would be great.
He worries more about the opposition as well.
That's why he loved
team. And that's why he's good.
That's why he loved players like Ronaldo. And that's what, on the field he loved him at least, but that's why he likes working with players like Ronaldo, like Ibrahimovic, like Mesut Ozil, because these are guys who can
get him
out of trouble and win games on their own. And when he's got a team that he actually needs to coach attacking football into, it's no coincidence that United have drawn 8 matches at home, 9 matches at home this season. That's no coincidence. They haven't been unlucky in every one of those games. It's systematic because his players aren't equipped with the ideas from their coach on how to win matches. They're equipped with how not to lose them, but they're not equipped to win him. And that is the biggest indictment on Mourinho. And he's the highest paid manager in the world? Outside China. He's the highest paid manager in the world. It's crazy.
And you compare his salary to that of Antonio Conte, who's come in at Chelsea and, things were going badly at the start. When they lost that Arsenal game 3-0 and he completely revolutionised his tactics, went 3 at the back. And, he worked it out to find a system that worked. With Mourinho, it's all the same football, same formation really, and that's why United are having the season they're having.
And even if they win the Europa League, the worst thing about it is, even if they do win the Europa League, Mourinho will be able to convince everybody that it's been a success, and that will buy him more time. And I think that Ed Woodward at the time was so starstruck by having the opportunity to work with, damaged goods as he was still Jose Mourinho. So
I think he was desperate. I think he was taking such a hammering, Woodward himself, in so many bad signings in the transfer market, the disaster of Moyes, the disaster of Van Gaal. He wanted someone who was a proven winner, someone that could just come in there and just get all the critics off his back, and it hasn't really worked out, has it?
And if he was to walk away from United, or if United were to lose their patience with him, because it happened at Chelsea, where in Europe, which top club in Europe can you imagine Mourinho taking over right now? No. I think he's burned so many bridges at places like Real Madrid and at Chelsea, super clubs, at Inter as well, that there isn't a super club out there now that would say, okay, we're guaranteed to win in style and have a harmonious camp if we bring Jose Mourinho in. I think United's the only place for him, and a successful United wouldn't even suit him either. I think he needs United because they need him.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between him and if you take someone like Pochettino, who I think Manchester United should have appointed. Someone who's very, innovative, modern football manager, and Mourinho is the old football manager. His time has passed. Tactically, definitely, his time has passed. I'm not convinced whether he can reinvent himself. I said that when he took over Manchester United, I wrote a piece that he's a tactical dinosaur. Maybe that was a little bit over the top, but I don't see him reinventing himself.